Permaculture is easily the most underrated knowledge base or learning system or design principle that we have in our society. I wanted to do a video on permaculture today, but just where to start. It's so deep. I wanted to isolate it to permaculture design principles, nothing to do with gardening, how we can use it in our societies. It still would have just been words. It's so deep a topic. I narrowed it down to functional design. And again, there's too much information there for anything useful to speak about or implement in people's lives. So I've really narrowed it down to a really small subject of the principle that every element in a system needs to have many functions. Why is this useful? If you just take away from gardening again, just even to a point in our lives, we don't have much time between work and family and everything else. So every part of your life, or every aspect, can be maximized to get better gains out of it, but more enriching as well. So just take sport, someone playing a team sport. The intrinsic value of sport is I play it because I like playing the sport. The additional benefits that would come from that would be health and fitness for one, mental health for the social aspect of it, the communal engagement. But there's further again, you might be raising a young family and you don't have much time to yourself. That hour that you go out and play team sport, building those social connections is your time. But again, you add to that, that might be set up through a school program or something where you might have other parents in that social group from the sport, and you're able to use those connections to carpool child school runs, where the benefit is not just through the enjoyment of the sport or the health and fitness, but through spending 1 hour of your time a week on the sport, you've actually created 3 hours of free time where you don't have to do 3 school runs in a week. So that's an example of focusing on how you can maximize the depth and benefits of everything you do in your life. In the same way I'm doing this 1 month challenge for the videos, I could have sat down and privately pumped out a video a day for 30 days and just binned them because they're rubbish. But the benefits I get from this, or hopefully get from it, is getting the goal that I want to be able to speak more personally and freely in front of a camera. But I get to take my friends and my connections on a bit of a journey with me to show the pain and struggle I've had with it, hopefully making me more personable to them, rather than just come out with a polished product at the end like it was easy. Along the way, I'm obviously posting on all my social profiles, so that's another touch point for my audience. I get to promote my businesses through it, at least people might be a bit interested in where we're coming from. I get to be another voice in sustainability, and particularly in the Sydney market. And also I get to, at the end of this, rather than binning 30 videos, I have a platform of 30 videos on topics I'm passionate about for my YouTube channel, which will hopefully give me further reach in the sustainability market and hopefully be a force for change. Stepping back one step further for the principle of this on a cityscape, I want to use an example that I think a lot about in a city is the flow of energy, the flow of traffic, the flow of people and business, and the economics of it, and the livability of a city as well. Our cities are now evolving with the online revolution in retail coming, the massive Amazon. Our retail stores are taking a massive hit. They're changing now from a product-based supply shop to a more service market. So there are streets within our intercity region that were service streets for goods and products, and not much else, laneways and things like that. These are now becoming obsolete as the city grows and changes and the market changes. So what we've already seen, especially in Europe, massively in Northern Europe, is the change of intercity streets into pedestrian areas, and more than that, enriching them with green streetscape, green infrastructure, areas that have been reclaimed by coffee shops and making them in a model of, say, the piazzas in southern Europe. This is a good form of changing a single element, being a street, an intercity lane, to serve many functions. It goes from a car service road to a pedestrian street. It maximizes its function for economics, with small businesses being able to trade there openly on the street in an area that was declining. We get to add beautification to the city with parks, gardens involved, also help clean the pollution with more green infrastructure in there. And we can layer over the top of that the new digital age as well. You could literally overlay this lane with not just modern art, but with digital, a digital landscape where you add VR and augmented reality built into the street. You could literally turn it into a digital museum while people were sitting drinking coffees. And this complexity and denseness of culture really does enrich the value of the city, the livability, and for Sydney, it would really raise our profile on the international stage. I think we need to think a lot more in terms of this, and we're not doing too bad at it. But permaculture, functional design is a resource for us to leverage what we can do with our world and our lives.